right, I'll call the LaPorte County Drainage Board June meeting to order. Let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Wow, this one's way up in the air.
All right, nobody get too excited today out there.
You feeling up in here, huh?
The big room.
We need crowd control.
Roll call, please.
Hugh Glasgow.
Here.
Tony Hendricks.
Here.
Sarah Hefner. Here. Rich Mrozinski is, I thought he was here today, but I guess not. John is here. Steve Mrozinski.
Here.
I'm here. Mike Poland.
Here.
Brad Adamski.
Here.
Approve the minutes. Anybody motion approving
Make a
the
motion
staff?
to approve the minutes.
Second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Town and Garden Estates.
Okay, I'll take this one. You may remember that I think we had this on the agenda before, and I had at least one picture where there was a 4x4 that went in the ditch, and the mud blocked culverts, which was causing water to back up. Plus rain, plus high water table, we had septic issues. I asked the complainant to get a police report. When the police did show up there, he was unclogging a pipe on property that wasn't his, and they made him leave the area, and he did not get a report. Since that time, we have partially unclogged the pipe, and some flow has been restored, and that was a surface water issue anyway, and we think that some of the septic issues are due to the high water table and the saturation in the ground, and some of them just need to be worked on and pumped out and whatnot. So I don't know if we still need to put this out for bid or if we wait and see, but if we do wait and see and what we've already done doesn't work, is waiting till the next meeting, is that going to be too long to take action? So that's where I'm at Garden Estates.
Is this a registered drain?
Yeah, it's a regulated or urban drain with an assessment, and we do have funds. So we could.
Do you see improvements while we have someone out there just cleaning this up? Is there stuff we can do to improve it too?
Some of those swales are being maintained by the homeowners and they're in good shape, and some of them aren't. So it's like a hodgepodge of good and bad. If we were to put this out for bid, I would narrow it down to specifically where the blocked pipes are and some others that have some light to medium debris that should be cleared out, and maybe even some riprap stabilization.
Is this the one that we got the email on or something, and it's the beavers were making the issue?
That is Hudson Lake.
All right. So this is just debris that's laying there.
Right. And some of this is it's kind of like a mobile home park, kind of. It's a community, and the drains in this are not like the other regulated drains. They're a series of roadside swales in all the roads back there with culverts under the driveways, and some of the culverts get clogged. A lot of the homeowners clean them up themselves, but some don't. And we do have jurisdiction over this drain.
So is it, do we need backhoes in there? Is it something just labor can do, or?
I think just labor, except for the one that is so mudded up that shovels weren't working, that one actually might need to be jetted out, but we just took some action that might work, so maybe we
What are you
can...
recommending us to do?
Can we do something like you authorize the surveyor, if this situation worsens, to put it out for bid before the meeting and make a decision in the office between the crew chief and the surveyor?
I mean, there's not that much money you're talking about, so you're asking for the board to authorize to do any preventative maintenance we see may need to be done up to a certain dollar amount, and there's what, $12,000 in the account, so it's not that much money. Between Mike and Christy and I, we could look at it and decide whether we want to get 2 or 3 quotes and see what it costs just to clean it up.
Tony's the man that can act on emergencies, so you don't need us for that approval, right?
Do we want board action to authorize the surveyor to...
I think the board action should simply be to at least authorize action to get bids, and if it appears to be an emergency, he can make that call as far as going forward. But at least then the board has proactively directed them to get the bids, and if it's not an emergency, they can always bring the bids back next month.
Got a motion to approve what he just said?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Is there a second? All right. Any other discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The Collins Ditch Crossing.
This came up through the email. NIPSCO is doing a preliminary investigation on, I think it's a gas line that's crossing the Collins ditch, and they just wanted to get permission to excavate the pipe on both sides of the ditch. They're not in the ditch, they just want to excavate on both sides to inspect their fittings. And they were, at this point, getting permission to do that. Once they look at what they need to look at, they will come back to us with other plans too, if they need to work under the channel. And I know, I've looked at the plans, Tony's looked at the plans.
Yeah, we're okay with it, as long as they do the standard hold harmless and work in our easement. That's the motion, to allow NIPSCO to do that, to hold standard hold harmless and work within our easement.
So move. Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Brad, attorney reports.
Just one item to follow up on. At the May meeting, you asked me to reach out to a property owner, Nancy Malone, regarding the Webster Ditch. We sent a letter to her, and it was regarding a 1-foot dam on their property. You were seeking documentation on that. Her attorney did respond on May 30th and sent back another dated 1995, but it was a permit from the Department of the Army Corps of Engineers, as well as correspondence from the Drainage Board itself back in 95. Can't hold it against Christine for not remembering something 19 years ago, but I forwarded the documents to her. I think she's reviewed them, and I think I'll let her comment on whether that meets what you guys were looking for or not.
Yeah, I remember actually the field work with Richard Buckingham. He was our staff surveyor at the time, and then I had written a letter about it, so it's in that packet that got sent down to you. So basically saying she had permits from the Army Corps and permission from the surveyor's office to put the structure in, so it's detailed in that letter.
And to correct my math, not 19 years ago, 24 years ago, so even longer. But yeah, so it all seems to at least be in order legally. 95, yeah.
Is her structure a couple logs or a couple trees that fell down in the ditch? And
I know, it's all in that documentation. To be honest, I don't even remember.
would you like to read that to us all?
Oh dear. Just the letter?
Well, we gotta figure out if what she's got the permit, unless you guys can just brief us on what this says. Where can she block her water up to, and
Yep.
and how can she block water up on neighbors?
I'd say probably that last page, or the second to the last page, where we gave the elevations that say she's good for however many hundred
The
feet.
staff of the surveyor's office
Yeah, you could probably read that
and
one.
drainage board performed work on a 900-foot section of Webster Ditch, starting at Highway 6, and have determined the following. The elevation at 500 feet is 88.25 and at 700 feet. Malone Bridge, Maloney or Malone Bridge, close paren, is 88.2. Therefore, water won't back up more than 200 feet from the Malone Bridge. The elevation at ditch bottom at the Highway 6 bridge is 87.8, and ditch bottom is 700 feet. Malone Bridge is 86.8. Therefore, there is a 1-foot fall between bridges. I have enclosed a copy of the field notes for your records, and that's signed by Christine Keough.
That's what we found out at the time. when we were there.
Well, they put in a new bridge at Highway 6. Does that have an elevation on record of where the bottom of it is now?
I don't know.
Because it's about 2 feet higher than the bottom of the ditch
I have a copy
at
of those.
Highway 6.
I have a copy of those bridge plans in my private world so I can pull them out. When NDOT did that new bridge,
Well, we
I can
need
dig them up.
to
But that
get
says that
those
you could only
things.
back it up 200 feet, basically. That's what the letter from this board said in 1995.
Well, if we got some heights to go with, we need to check and see how far off
Yes,
her specs are right now.
yes. We can follow
There
up with
is
that.
no structure in there that's a permanent structure. Trees don't count as a permanent structure. I don't feel they kind of rot and cause debris to get caught on the logs. And there's some old trees laying under her bridge, so there's a lot of farm ground north of Highway 6 that's really suffering right now, and I thought we could get that taken care of like right now.
Well, the
If it
description,
don't get taken care of before July's meeting, there's no need to do it this year.
the description in the certificate of approval says it was a twin culvert stream crossing, has been replaced with a single beam or single span timber bridge. The timber deck is supported by timber beams placed from the top of the bank to the bottom, or top of bank to top of bank. A rock pile approximately 1 foot high has been placed in the channel underneath the bridge. Abutments for the previous crossing have been removed, and that was the project that they were dealing with back in '95. Now it says that that's approved indefinitely, subject to any modifications or changes. So I guess
The
what we
water's
could
probably so
verify
deep
is,
we can't see the gravel.
yeah.
To me, elevations are important, but more important is the flow. Anytime you impede the flow, case in point, on the LaPorte County Board, we put insecticide in the ditch to impede the weeds, to kill the weeds. The ditch dropped 3 feet because it wasn't flowing. Elevations aren't as important as the flow.
Well, this is all just stagnant water sitting north of 6.
We can go look at it with the plans that NDOT did for Webster Ditch to see what she has out there today compared to what she was put in there in 1995. And then we'll bring it back to the board.
And that'll be July.
July.
So these people.
If there's any action, I guess we can take it because we have her permit, that's what she's supposed to do.
Well, keep me posted on it anyway.
Right.
I would just like to add that there was an additional obstruction in that ditch over the winter time that the property owner called and had that taken out, had the tree removal service come and take it out. So that was one additional obstruction that has been addressed. Maybe there's other obstructions besides that.
I can't see any work that's been done south of 6.
And I would just ask Tony to make sure that you coordinate with me, or at least inform me of what actions you may or may not be taking, since she's got legal counsel. That way I can inform them as well.
Yeah, we'll come to you first.
If she can only hold up a foot and not hold up any water above the bottom of Highway 6 structure,
Yes.
That means there's a big problem there right now.
And look at that and bring it back to Brad, and discuss how to move with that.
All right,
That's all I had for attorney reports.
okay. Tony, your
All I have is
report, please.
the Kankakee River Basin Commission last meeting is this Thursday at 9:30 in Knox, was at the Nancy Dembowski Center. And then there'll be a new Kankakee River Basin Commission next month with appointees by each commissioners of the 8 counties and one from DNR. So if anyone would like to come down and the last hurrah for the Kankakee River Basin Commission on Thursday at 9:30, it should be a pretty interesting meeting. It might be a little long. That's all I have.
You're going to that, right?
Yeah, and bring food. Christine said it could be very
How
long.
many people will be on the new one?
9, I think.
Yeah, 9. One from each county and the DNR as the head governor liaison. From
Does
23.
Does the counties appoint who's gonna be?
The commissioners appoint the member that they wish. Unless they don't do it by September, then it defaults to the surveyor.
All
And I
right,
have given the commissioners my desire to be on the committee, if they so choose to appoint me. It sounds like we have a good group of people that are about to be appointed, which we could really get things accomplished because they have a stream of funding. They have $2.3 million from the state, and we could really get something done on the Kankakee River finally on a basis that needs to be done and maintenance every year. So it could be
Is that
very
like
good.
Stark County's yellow
It's the yellow
is
and the
gonna be
Kankakee.
well represented along
Yes.
with our Kankakee.
Could be, we could have a good group of people. I understand some people might be coming back to the board that haven't been there in decades that would like to get back involved and get something done.
Let's hope for the best.
They have a good leader. Yeah.
Yes, that's the whole thing.
Yes. That's all I have.
Any old business? Any new business?
I have new business. I met with Martin Barr, you guys all know him, yesterday morning, and he has a situation where a big tree and a bunch of logs were placed in the ditch on the property out at KOP. So we have money in that fund. So I met with him, and because he's trying to plant corn upstream from there, so we wanted to try to get this done as fast as we could. So I was gonna ask for a motion to let me put this out for bid later today or tomorrow to come back. Actually, I need to do an on-site field meeting on Monday because the property is gated and locked. So we all need to meet and go out there as a group, so, because it's locked up. It's at KOP, and the adjoining owners, there's bunkers and things where you don't want public running around. So I set up a meeting for Monday at 8 in the morning for any interested bidders. And then if you give me the motion to fast track this so we can get the log jams out so he can get his corn planted, to have it put out for bid to be due on a week from today in the morning, and then we could just open them and award them and have the work done by June 24th. So it'd be like 2 weeks from yesterday.
You said something that really perked my ears up, but the way you said that was there were these logs placed in there.
Yeah, so then that leads to the next question. If we need to have Brad send a letter to the owner saying, we think you put this stuff in the ditch, please don't do this again, here's the cost, we could possibly assess you for the cost, kind of thing.
Informative.
Right, yeah, if it's an obstruction put in, then certainly we can follow up with that letter after you do your site visit.
Sorry?
I said if it's an obstruction that the property owner put in, then yeah, it would be appropriate to put them on notice.
It's obvious.
It's a
Yeah,
mess.
there are tire tracks leading up
There's pictures.
to the piles,
Wow.
but there's some pictures. Yeah, it looked like the tree had
Underneath this
possibly-
is the ditch? Underneath this is
Yeah,
the ditch?
well, I'll try to show you a picture. So this is the ditch running east and west, and a branch goes north and south. This is part of the KOB. And it looked like there was a gigantic tree that either fell or a bunch of it broke off, and then some was cut, and there's some laying across the ditch here, and then there's a road here. And then it looks like some of it was cut and pushed and piled up into the ditch on this side. And it's like all laying across the culvert. It doesn't look like the culvert's crushed. There's still water flowing through there, but it's just a mess.
Is it an assessment?
So we wanted to get it out,
He said it is.
but then
Way this picture looks, the informative letter you're gonna send them
I have more pictures. Martin was concerned
should
with
be
the fact
like,
that-
you know, there's some legality things
Yeah.
that could happen here.
I mean,
This was to happen again.
We could take it out in the meantime, and then along with that, have Brad send the owner a letter.
Does it look like the tree was intentionally felled, or did the tree fall?
Well, there are tire tracks, like, as in like backhoe, tractor leading up to the tree pile.
Can't even see
So
that.
it looks like it was,
Doesn't look like a ditch to me.
Yeah, there ain't no ditch there.
yeah, it's underneath. This, I have more pictures, but, well, here you can see the tires. The ditch is this is the ditch line. I mean, everything's overgrown, but it's hard to tell. If you wanted to go see it, the whole apartment, he let you in.
Behind lock and key, and
Monday
somebody
morning
does this
at 8
behind
o'clock
lock and
is-
key.
It rains on
Tree fell down and they got
Interesting.
least resistance, they pushed it over.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
like to
I
go
got
if
it.
it rains.
Pushed
It
out,
rains.
so-
Pushed it out.
Can't go on it.
Yeah, I'll go if it rains.
Well, my thoughts are is get it taken care of as soon as possible.
Yeah, corn planting's about over
Yeah.
with.
Yeah, his June 15th was his drop dead date, so I'm trying to fast track this for him. I just he just came in like last week, so I met with him Monday.
But
that
today's
was,
Tuesday, so if something could get dug out on Wednesday, that'd be tomorrow. That'd be the best thing for him.
well, but I have to put it out
for bid.
for bid through the email.
Isn't there a dollar amount that we can go underneath,
Isn't this an emergency?
Tony?
Close.
You can,
The surveyor can determine whether it's an emergency or not, but
It's close. I mean,
Close.
it's not blacked everything up, it's not all the way across, so. But I mean, if the board is so pleasures, we could just call up 3 people and ask them the price.
Right,
And then take the
under-
lowest and make it happen.
under a certain amount, you can solicit the 3 bids like that instead of having to publish it or put it out in
It's gonna
writing.
be way under that amount.
I think we should get it done.
Yeah.
is there a second on that?
Second.
Yep, all right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Make it happen.
Make it happen.
Yes.
Are you still gonna meet out there then Monday, or no, if we're gonna do this, you're just gonna take care of it?
Well, I have to today's Tuesday.
Just let us know. If you do, I might go out if,
Yeah, I mean.
but you might have it done before then.
I kinda had it already scheduled and to do the Monday morning thing. I mean, probably.
He
the
would love
soonest
to
we
hear-
could do it would be Friday. If you're trying to get people out there.
Even soliciting the bids, the contractors may want to see the property before offering a bid. I would hope so anyhow.
They have to see it
Does-
before they give the bid. And the
does
problem
Marty
is right
have-
now, it's all locked up,
Does Marty have someone he knows that could do it real quick for him?
probably.
There's
They
money in
want
this
us to
fund?
give that go ahead because of our,
Does Martin have the key?
yeah, he's got, yeah, it's his property as well as others, and he has a key to get in. But yeah, he could probably get somebody to do it right away, but with it coming out of the ditch funds, we wanted to follow protocol.
So you need to at least solicit the 2 other bids, and if nobody gets back to you on those bids or says that they can't, then you can act, I guess, on an emergency basis. But
Tell him we said it's okay to get the stuff out. Now you can handle it from there.
Yeah, well, the problem with calling somebody and go, hey, can you go get this out? They can't get to it. It's all locked up.
Yeah,
So
so I'm wondering if Marty can just let his guy in there and get it done.
Because we wanted to that's why I set one field meeting to take everybody back, because I said, we we can't be running 6 separate people in and out of here. Let's just do one meeting, because,
Yeah.
we don't have time. But, I mean,
We'll see if it takes that meeting. Just with
Monday's a
some
long
phone
time
calls.
away.
Yeah.
okay, so what do we want to do?
We'll ask him for a price for his guy and see what it is.
Yeah.
See if anybody else can give you a price.
We can take his,
Because we're probably talking, what, $2,000-3,000?
Well, it's probably a haul out.
Oh, it's a haul out. Yeah, haul away. Plus, it
Is that more expensive?
All right.
probably double.
Any more new business?
Nope.
Claims?
They have 3 claims from Al Alsop for log jam removal on the Kankakee River. And that was, at 8 and 39 was $1,000. And at 1800 South was $2,000. And at 450 North was $1,200.
So the river's way, way up, and it's amazing he even went out there and took them out in this high volume velocity event that's going on, so it was.
I thought Alsop was done with bidding our work.
Well, that was the other thing I think he understood with what happened before, that he's playing very nice right now and doing things that most people wouldn't do. So the money is KRC money?
That is money that we were reimbursed from FEMA, from our FEMA claim, that we could turn around and use for the river. So I'm gonna use that for that. But yeah, it was, the work required a pontoon boat, and Al has a pontoon boat that's set up to work in swift current out there and pull that stuff out, so.
Is there a motion to approve the claims?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion approved, claims approved. Joint board reports?
Fort County Board met last week. Usual stuff, that tree spraying along the banks are delayed because of the, can't get to them, everything's wet. But the upshot was they used aquatic weed control in ditches to great effect. It really worked for them.
That sounds good. Any other joint board reports? MS4 reports? Right?
Because there's so many, I'm just gonna focus on a couple. There's a site, Holmesville Road and 125 South. I think you and I discussed that on the phone.
Yeah.
I have a report that I'll turn into you. It's complete with pictures and staff report. I sent staff to this location. I have not personally been to the site, but I read the report and I looked at the pictures, so I'm gonna bring that up to you now.
All right. Who was the contractor? What were they putting in?
Subcontractor of NIPSCO. Here's pictures of the site, and I highlighted, Rick Brown was the person that went out there, and I highlighted what his report on the situation was. So, everything through, I'll go back to the mic so I'm on.
All right.
The MS4 coordinator was satisfied that the MS4 regs were compliant, but that fill being in the right-of-way could be a highway department issue that could be followed up on. But now we have a report on file at the MS4 office with photos of the site. So that's that one. Have another one at 2992 North, 300 East, Wilson. This was complaint induced. Oh wait, this one was the subcontractor for NIPSCO. That one might have been a homeowner. Maybe they both were. There's so many.
But you got both sides of the road here. on this report, and it looked like it was only put on one side of the road.
Okay.
So there's a report, something's going on there. Go ahead.
So we had one site visit by staff to that location and a report on file, so that one's on the radar now. We communicate with the highway department regularly too, so if they had a swale there that was filled in, they'll be responding to that. Let's see, we discussed town garden estates. You guys want to discuss Hudson, or?
Bring the public up to speed.
So Hudson Lake, the drain is open full and it's not draining because of back pressure that we are experiencing from an obstruction on the Hudson arm of the Taylor ditch. It's a medium-sized beaver dam that's holding back 3 feet of water. St. Joe County controls the funds for this. Steve and I talked when we first became aware of it. First, I sent a scout to the area, and they found the beaver dam. Called me right away. I called Steve. Steve called St. Joe. I followed up with St. Joe. They deployed a trapper and had planned on sending Bailey out once the beavers were trapped to pull the beaver dam. Some time has passed. The residents are not able to. Some of them not able to flush their toilets. The water's really high. There's been property damage. They're saying that a trapper's not there, and I told them, well, I was told there is a trapper deployed, and if you go out there by the dam, you're going to get into the traps and interfere with that. But they have removed. Community members have removed, the dam themselves. I don't blame them for that, because of the high water and property damage that's occurring. This is exactly why that I take the actions that I take, such as a couple months ago when I copied you the email where people were complaining that I was letting too much water out. It was in anticipation of something like this happening with the spring rains, trying to create a buffer, being ahead of it. Turns out we're still in an emergency disaster situation out there, but it would have been way worse if we hadn't opened the drain when we did. So I don't consider this situation under control at all. It's an ongoing emergency situation. When we do gain control over the situation, I'm going to create a bigger buffer with the drain up to draining it down all the way to the legal level until we manage to get that Hudson arm clear cut so that those beavers don't have that stuff to chew on. Steve and I are in consensus agreement with this.
St. Joe.
Is the obstruction on LaPorte County side or St. Joe's side?
It is on the LaPorte County side, right near. It's a few hundred feet off a county line road.
Okay, but they control the funds. Can we have Tony call their surveyor and see if we can get something done?
We can certainly.
It's like an emergency. It's like a health hazard when you can't flush your toilet.
Right.
If they go in to clean that, maybe they can clear cut at the same time to get those out of there, because it needs it bad. It's terrible.
Yeah, I agree. I'll make another call to their surveyor's office after this meeting. If I don't get anywhere, perhaps our surveyor can follow up after that.
Put the pressure on them.
All right, I'll conclude my reports with that.
All right. Is there any public comment today?
Is there another dam on the ditch? Because I was one of the people hearing the ditch
Can you come up to the microphone and say your name and everyone can hear you? Home
Yes,
and-
I'm new to this. A deputy trustee in Hudson Township, and we were getting calls from people that had problems with the high water level. So I went out and assisted other people, I guess adjoining property owners, to clear one beaver dam. Is there more than one beaver dam? Because the water was flowing.
No, I believe that it was rebuilt by the beavers overnight, and that's common. I've had that done to me. You spend all day tearing it out, and you feel like you got beat with bats the next day, and
Right.
there it is, rebuilt. But
Okay, I can go out again.
yeah. Now, the dam was removed again yesterday afternoon, so the beavers will be probably rebuilding it tonight,
Okay.
and it'll probably be back tomorrow.
Why didn't they do it last night? They should have rebuilt it.
I don't know, sometimes it's 24-hour turnaround, sometimes it's 48, you know,
They need to rest.
and we've got some kind of, we've got a trapper in the mix. I mean, St. Joe says they've deployed a trapper, the residents said they haven't, you know.
Right, the residents said they were warned about traps being in the area. I didn't see any traps. You know,
What kind of traps do they use?
I guess if they want a live trap, it would be like a basket
Well,
that they put in the water.
They should.
Right.
But I did see one furry creature in the water. It was too far away to identify whether it was muskrat or a beaver.
They're definitely prevalent, and this is a fairly new occurrence for that area. I've been controlling this drain for almost 20 years, and only the last 2 or 3 have we had beavers out there causing problems. So we're forced to adjust the way that we're handle the drain, and we have to modify our buffer and our response, and it's going to make people upset on the west side. I'll just give you that warning now. The people are going to be upset how much I'm going to drain out of that lake when we regain control.
If we don't get any luck with St. Joe County, is there such a thing we can go out there like we did before with that backhoe to make it a clearing out there, call it a disaster? And I know there's no funds left in there probably.
What we have available to us, since they control the funds, I mean, we could hire someone and just send them a bill. That would be kind of crappy to do. We could go through the commissioner's office and maybe get our highway department to do something, but they're as swamped as we are with water calls and road calls. So, I'm not sure. I don't know what to do.
There's a frightening amount of water built up in Hudson Lake. I estimate it to be over 1,000 acre feet. That's 1,000 acre, 1 acre, 1,000 feet tall. That volume of water is built up above the legal defined level of the lake.
I think this claims emergency, and someone needs to get out there with an excavator and dig it deep and get the beavers so they're not gonna rebuild right there.
No, and the problem is, as long as we have that tree line there, the beavers got plenty of fuel to.
You have to take trees out?
Yeah, we'll have to clear cut all the trees. That's the only way to do it.
These are not large trees. These are, inch, 2 inch diameter.
There's some pretty large ones out there.
Yeah.
How far is the water backed up to that home? Back to the west there where we first drove in?
It's probably backed up all the way to the.
Because that goes right up over their driveway where we first drove in.
That's right.
On this side of the water. Before it gets to that ditch.
That is, it's backed up there too. It's backed up. All those people are having septic issues.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And it's backed up to our infrastructure. Lakeshore Drive is underwater, and I have the drain open full, and it's not draining.
Good, I'm glad.
Lakeshore Drive is not even passable on foot.
No, I've been there. I've seen it.
You could probably wait, take your.
So it's a fire hazard too. Fire truck can't even get there.
Oh, no.
Right.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
There's 2 of us that wanna get back to the field. We're hoping you guys can deem this an emergency and get these people so their toilets can flush. If there's something we can
Yeah, I
do to
think
help
that needs
spur
to be
that
an
along,
emergency to get it done.
let us know.
Get a hold of St. Joe,
You bet.
see what we can
It
do.
needs to happen as quick as Bar's ditch needs to be cleaned, or quicker.
The one issue that is pitting maybe the people against the St. Joe people is, you know, and Christy and I discussed this, if you keep pulling the dam out, then the trapping part isn't gonna work. But, so if you keep pulling the dam out, you're gonna have to keep pulling the dam out until the traps work. But they're pulling it out because they need at least temporary relief, but the trappers need to leave the dam in place and notch it a certain way for the traps to be effective. So we have a little bit of a catch-22 going on there too.
Is shooting the beavers an option?
Yes, feel free, unload.
Oh,
Oh my
I
God.
don't have a gun. But I know
That's
that
what
the
we
landowners,
have happen.
are sure in that stage, and they're right there, so they can sit up a chair and just wait.
Usually if you kill one, the rest of them kind of leave to
Try
another
that.
Okay.
area.
Try it and then don't.
I'll visit there and I'll make sure that the dam is gone, if there's one now, and let the neighbors know that you know, they can do whatever they feel necessary.
We just gotta get it fixed, one way or another.
Got a fairly simple.
Any more public comment?
Good afternoon, board members. Ray Dumris, Michiana Shores. Mr. Chairman, this is not a problem. This is just for your information. In the white ditch that Michiana Shores is responsible for, there is a small tree in the ditch. There's a larger one that's really, you know, it should be taken care of, but it's not in the ditch. We are going to be handling that. So I just want to let you know. The only concern that I have is this morning, where that small tree is in the ditch, there was this white foamy type of material, which I had never seen in the white ditch before. And I didn't have rubber gloves, so I'm not going to be sticking it in it not knowing what it is. I don't know, Tony, if you might be familiar with
I've
that.
seen some
or-
of that in ditches before, and I can't really tell you where it comes from, but I think it's kind of a seasonal thing, and I don't know where it's coming from, but we'll look into it.
Oh, okay. It might go away in a couple of days, and it might be, I know there are a lot of pollen, white pollen floating around that they just clog or something, but that was something that was there today. So, again, just information.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you. Well, we've got two people in the public and they both spoke. I motion for adjournment. Next meeting is July 9th. We're adjourned.